Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to give you a complete guide to beating the three main Golem decks in Clash Royale. We've got Golem Pump, Golem Arrows Zap with the Phoenix now, and then we've also got the Golem Night Witch with the Baby Dragon coming up. So, hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'm going to do my best to explain my thought process and how exactly to beat each and every one of these matchups. So, as we can see against Golem Pump, you're going to want to pretty much any matchup. If he doesn't do anything responding to your tombstone, you can go with the lava in the back. So we do, and we go with that balloon spot right there, which is going to be targeted by the Phoenix, sadly, but it's going to be okay because we do manage to get a balloon hit here with a nice fireball. So as you can see there, that balloon position makes it really tricky for him. He does get an easy Phoenix lock half of the time, but you are not going to be able to tornado it to your king tower, so he has to make sure to wrap it up without the use of the tornado, unless he wants to tornado it back, which is going to be a bit difficult to do before he gets the pump down. So that's tip number one. You're going to try to go in on offense before he gets his pumps down, and it's just going to benefit you greatly. You want to get as much damage as you can in single, and also focus on making your pushes, your full push, your Lavaloon and whatever you want to add to it, Phoenix or whatever. You want to get as much damage as you can in single, and also if you go in heavily on offense, he's going to have to spend multiple cards to respond to it. And as you can see here, we're going to get away with defending this golem with literally just the tombstone. All we need, this tombstone right here, because he is busy over there. Sadly, we don't get the Phoenix, but we do get a balloon hit. So as you can see, he is down in elixir, and his golem is dead. The golemites are still alive, of course, because they're pains in the ass, but we're up in damage. We're going to get a nice fireball here. It's going to hit everything, kill the golemites, and we are going to take a little bit of damage from this bird, but that's usually unavoidable. So as you can see, we went in heavily on offense in single elixir to try and make sure that we could get as much damage as possible, because it's going to be hell to try and get offensive pushes going in single or double elixir when he has, you know, the Nado, the E-Drag, the Phoenix. So as you can see here, he doesn't have a way to get rid of our drag, so if we play them deep, they're going to get lots of value, and we're going to let this Dark Prince go on the left side because he has a lot of HP on the left side. My tower has a lot of HP on the left side, so I'm not too worried about sacking a Dark Prince there, because there's not enough time for him to go for a whole new lane. So I just zapped the tower because it was within zap range. As you can see, we're taking full advantage of single elixir and the skeleton dragons value, since they can't be killed deep in your own territory. So I hope that's going to help you beat some Golem Pump. And let's get into the next one. It's going to be Golem Arrows Zap with the bird. So Madeira Uchiha for the 15th time. We've already been over how many Madeira Uchichas there are. I don't care if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not a weeb. I don't care. But as you can see, Lumberjack in the back, instantly just chaos. We're going to go with the Zap here, and I believe I also Fireball. I just didn't want to use my Barbs. I should have used my Barbs, but I didn't want to, and I can't really pinpoint the reason for that. It probably might have been safer to go Barbs, but for example, he can get away with, I think, a lot of damage, because the E-Barbs plus Lumberjack plus even a Zap is going to do a bunch of damage to the Barb. So I just wanted to be careful and make sure I wrapped up that push without using the Barbs in case I needed them for something else. And so as you can see, this is going to go well for us because we're just going to pull the Golem. We're going to use the Phoenix to kill these bats, and then we're going to target the Night Witch here, and we are going to use the Zap to keep the bird alive. And so as you can see, we're down a ton here. It's going to be fine ultimately, just because it was a bad starting position for us. Like, come on. The ideal situation is not for him to go Lumberjack E-Barbs at the bridge. You gotta also think that I'm kind of just thinking on the fly here. I have no idea what he's running, so it's just, you know, the E-Barbs Lumberjack at the bridge is kind of difficult to deal with. But as you can see, with the bird out, how is he going to stop the balloon Skelly Drags push? especially since we know he's not back to both of his spells. So as you can see, we're going to make up for losing our tower by taking our tower of our own. You got to be very careful not to do that when he does have the Phoenix in cycle, because he could just go Phoenix in front and the drags aren't going to do jack squat. So here the lava's coming in to match the golem. We're both going the same lane, so it's not that big of a deal. We're going to plant the tombstone. As you can see, we're not back to balloon, so there's no point in backing up this lava push. It's just a tank for his Night Witch and his Phoenix, while giving us time to deal with his golem and his lumberjack. So as you can see, we're also going to just fireball this Phoenix and this Night Witch to get good fireball value. We actually kill the egg, which was unintended, or not kill the egg, kill the bird, which was unintended. But we're just gonna stuff the bridge here, and then also go with Zap. We're just making sure that we can wrap this all up without using both of my ground counters. Now you got to be very careful about that. He does have the E-barbs and the lumberjack, so as long as you keep up the pressure, you cannot let him go golem, E-barbs, or lumberjack, because you cannot defend that. So you have to be applying pressure with the lava hound so that he can't build up that big push. Never use both of your ground cards when you're going to leave them at a position where they're both dead, if you understand what I'm saying. So if you wasted your tombstone, you can't use your barbs on something that's going to kill the barbs. As you can see, he has no good response to this, so we could balloon in the pocket. But if you can understand what I'm saying, if you use both of your ground cards on like the same thing and you're not careful, especially in single elixir, what's going to happen is you're going to get punished extremely heavily by lumberjack or E-barbs or both. So you want to make sure you always have a ground card ready. And now, yeah, we're going to go into the next one here with the golem. With the golem, it's a golem matchup guide. Of course, it's with the Golem Nado. This obviously Golem Pump is probably going to be the hardest one, but I think this is the second hardest one. The one we just showed, the Arrow Zap one, is actually pretty difficult when he has the bird, but we played it pretty well there. And it's also, these matchups are easier with the Mighty Miner. So I usually recommend running Mighty Miner. Yeah, I don't know, man. You can run whichever one you feel better with, because they both have their pros and cons. They're both good in certain matchups, and you can win a lot of the same matchups with these two cards. You just have to play a little differently. So here, as you can see, we get the Mighty Miner. It's going to be way easier to deal with Golem using the Mighty Miner, because there's no like ways he can't deal with the Mighty Miner like he can deal with the barbarians. And a lot of the time with barbarians, you have to play way more passively and carefully. He got us the good there with the Nado. But the good thing about Mighty Miner is, I can play it on a bandit or a ghost or something. I can't go ahead and just, barbarians on the royal ghost or the bandit or stuff like that. So it's actually very nice that the Mighty Miner has that -1 elixir. It's going to be very beneficial. So here, we're going to make sure we get our fair share of damage. Worst case scenario, we tower trade. It is important to make sure that this is going to take his tower. As you can see, he can't Nado it anymore. So we're going to get some good value there. And we're just going to plop this Mighty Miner down, because what's going to happen is this Night Witch is going to walk over here. We are just going to, I believe, pop the bomb to kill these skeletons. And that way, as you can see, using the bird after we wrap pretty much all of this up is going to help us deal with the Golem and the baby dragon. And it's just a fine play, because you guys don't have to worry about like saving elixir. I think if you can, you got to be careful, because if there's two really different points here. The problem is, if you spend a bunch of elixir and don't defend him, you're just wasting elixir and time, and you're probably going to end up losing. But if there is a chance that the Phoenix, for example, is going to help you wrap up a push without like sacrificing your lava or something, do it. Absolutely, because if I don't have a lava down, there's no reason to be sacking things. You want to play pretty much all of your defensive cards, unless it's like a bad tombstone or Mighty Miner or something, because you're going to need the tombstone or Mighty Miner for something else. So if you can understand what I'm saying there, you guys got to be very careful. Don't waste elixir on defense if you have a lava push down, but also don't just take unnecessary damage. So I hope this helped you with your Golem matchups, and feel free to ask me any questions in the comments section below. Love you guys, and I'll be out with more matchup guides in the future.